Evening boys, TheSuffolkRam for Around Nerds. Welcome to my review of Doctor Who Series 12 Episode 10, The Timeless Children. There will be spoilers ahead for Episode 10 as well as spoilers for Episode 9. There'll only be minor spoilers though, I'll try and keep it succinct. But especially if you watch Episode 9, turn off now. If you've not watched Episode 10, I just recommend you turning off now as well. So, following the conclusion of last week's episode where the Master has returned, got back, and the boundary which they were heading to last episode has turned out to be the portal back to Galifray, or has been linked up to Galifray. The Master takes Doctor through and sort of shows Doctor a bit of background lore. It's hard to talk about this episode because most of it is going to be a spoilerific, so this might be a shorter review. It's a lore-heavy episode. There isn't a lot of action in this one. Not saying episode has to have action. I don't mind that. I quite like it when they're not there, not too busy. I quite like sort of episodes that sort of don't say want to make you think more. That's the wrong word, but episodes that are more explore the Doctor a bit actually. Because although we've explored the Doctor more in the new series of Who than the old series of the old original classic series, we don't explore Doctor's background quite so much as at least in sort of say spiders we have in the newer series. So this is sort of a fairly heavy about. We learn a bit about Galifray, the Time Lords, and the Doctor. It is a very lore heavy episode. I actually liked it. I thought it was a nice ending. It had some moments to it. I think it's going to be divisive for people. Sort of the way they've evolved the plot, I can see a lot of people not being keen on. Some people are not going to be too happy with it. I can see that already. But then the fandom is already pretty broken over Jodie Whittaker's Doctor anyway as it was. So, but other than that, I did enjoy the episode. The Master's back up to his devilish, evil master plans. And the plan he comes off in this episode actually is one that I hadn't thought of, but is actually really quite interesting. This may be a minor spoiler if you're going to give it away, but if you are in any way familiar with Warhammer 40,000, I'm just going to say Necrons. But I don't feel too much, to be fair. But I have to say, I did enjoy this episode actually a lot. I felt it's a different sort of finale. It wasn't a finale that relied on whizzy bang bangs. It was a finale that relied more on, let's explore a bit of parts of history and sort of set up and actually reveal some stuff that they can obviously build from. So I enjoyed it. There's not really a lot I can say about it without spoiling things, because it is a episode that not a lot happens. I mean, that's what as a Doctor is basically spends most of the time on Galifray, exploring Galifray and learning more about Galifray. Doctor's gang, as I've always called them, but apparently she refers to as the fam, which is a word I absolutely detest. But they obviously have to try and escape from the cyber ship, and they come up with a very gruesome but clever way to do that. Not been seen before. Ryan's stuck on this planet they found. I can't remember the name of the planet. I always forget the name of the planet. Having to try and sort of escape from that. But yeah, I have to say, I did enjoy this episode. I'm sorry I can't say more than that without spoiling anything too much. So, but yeah, I actually thought it was a good. If you like more lore episodes, it's a good final episode. If you're after more of an action-packed, but I could see why, and that's fair enough. Of course, everyone has their own preferences. I quite like the lore episode. If you don't like lore episodes, it's fun. Everybody's different. But this probably is not the episode for you, unfortunately. But yeah, I enjoyed the episode. So cast and crew rise. So this episode is really about the Doctor and the Master. The gang do appear and do turn up through it, and the characters we introduced last week do appear. They're actually very much sidelined through this. This really is about the Doctor and the Master having a final showdown, a real sort of meeting of minds is one word, a war of minds and duplicity and violence. Nice. I think the fact they got a good actor to play the Master works well. He does such a great job of it. and bounces off Dr. Joe Exotica so well. He's just got the personality down right. This megalomaniac sort of, it's like crazy guy. He's got it right down just right. I thought when I first saw him in Spyfall, and I thought he's done a really good job of nailing. In my opinion, he's nailed what the Master is. So that's pretty darn good. The other going, Ryan and Yaz and Graham, they don't really have a lot to do. Ryan has more important parts. He does a lot more sort of cooler things in this episode. He does a lot of, he gets a bit more involved with fighting and so forth, which is kind of cool for him. He's actually useful a little bit. He does some actual useful things and practical things, which is not unusual, which is unusual for Ryan. Yaz and Graham, though, they just sort of like wander through the episode, to be fair. They don't do a great deal apart from just trying to escape, which is fair. Nice, all the other sort of side characters disappeared from this. Patrick Kane playing Ashad as the assignment. He still does a great. He's been a great enemy voice through, and he carries on this episode as well. Really cool and really great. So, yeah, I have to say, this has been an episode. This has been a good grab of people, and I think it's an excellent group of people for the final episode. So on to production. So probably the big sort of set pieces thing is Galifray, and I think they've done a pretty splendid job of it. The sort of parts where you see Galifray looks very alien worldy, sort of Marsy, sort of red dusty worldy. They do quite a neat job of it. And the Simon spaceship, I think, was done. Effects were quite good, quite cool. Definitely improvement over, say, last week's Cyberhead drone things. Definitely improvement on that. So yeah, special effects were really, actually, I quite like the special effects in this one. No, I could talk about the cast crew writers, but it's basically the same period as last week. Chris Chibnall. This has proved to me Chris can write decent episodes. I always worried about Chris Chibnall's writing because he did do some stinkers last week, but he seems to have found his footing now, and this was a really, if decisive, is a really I think quite a well written episode, and it's got its complicated parts. You have to sort of really pay attention to what's going on, what's telling. You have to read between the lines a little bit. At the end of it, people I was watching it with, they sort of asked questions, and I sort of went through and said, no, you think that, and they didn't quite pick up some of the things that were said. Some things they picked up, most of it they did, but the few bits they picked up. And it's still not, and it didn't spell it out for you, which is quite nice. I could see, however, that perhaps younger viewers might find this a bit of a more of a tedious episode. Sort of, people who I'm not saying when I say younger viewers, I mean like sort of children here, may have more problem following the plot line a little bit. But overall, for writing for it, I thought it was cool. I liked it. I enjoyed the thing. So good writing. Same director as last week. I think did a great job with the story and so forth. So yeah, I would say pretty well put together. So my final thoughts. I did enjoy it. I like this. It was a different kind of finale. I liked it. I liked the more lore-heavy episode. We don't get a lot of sort of background lore episodes in Doctor Who. We don't get a lot of those sort of big, deep episodes. They all tend to be sort of quite shallow in a way. And seeing one episode like this was nice. I liked the fact that it was a bit different, a bit out there, a bit for let's push things. Although I can see how it will possibly piss some people off. But I enjoyed it. I actually really did like it. I was sort of hooked on it for the whole it's a long episode, an hour and 10 minutes. I was hooked for the whole thing, and yeah, I did actually really like this episode. So thank you for watching. This has been sort of the last of my reviews for Series 12, obviously. We'll be back when we get to Christmas / New Year special, whatever they decide to do. We'll be back when that comes along. So at some point this week, we're hoping that me and my colleague Middlemeister are going to do our spoilerific end of season review, where we talk about the last 5 episodes. We did one for the mid-season review, which is on the playlist. You can check that out. We will do one this week where we discuss the final 5 episodes of the series. So, on that note, thank you very much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in future reviews. If you like this, please subscribe to the channel. Please consider liking this episode. That'd be really appreciated. Thank you very much, and look forward to seeing you guys in the future. See you later.